own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
This is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and I think I'll be joined by some guests in a little while here. We're being held up probably by traffic. But once again, the number's on the screen, and you can feel free to call. Call about any problem, any subject you like to talk about. There's nothing that's forbidden, just keeping in the bounds of good taste, and we'll be okay with that. So go ahead, just call in if you feel like, and other than that, we'll just kind of talk about a few things. Well, here comes one of my guests now. But yeah, just a little word, once again, be careful along some of the streets. Our guys are out there paving along with some of the private contractors, and in the short interim, you're going to run into some traffic problems and some congestion, and just try to drive safe, and don't forget the kids are in school also. Well, yes, we are.
We're on time today?
I'm on time today. That's kind of weird, right?
I know. I don't know what's going on around here.
I'm being joined by my good friend John Steiner, and I think DJ's going to be here in a little while.
I was wondering what was going on.
Probably the traffic held you up, right?
It's bad, yeah.
Yes, I warned him about that.
Your insurance has everything.
Yeah, but that's a good problem, though.
Yeah, it is a great problem.
I love those problems like that.
Any problems that create jobs, love those problems.
And tax money.
And tax, that's why I like hearing insurance so much. They provide so many jobs, and they're not looking for a handout like some of the nonprofits. But, I ran in here.
It would be nice if we could. I kind of looked at it with jaded, but, the Amazon thing, I don't know about that.
I wish they'd move in. What don't you like about that?
Well, we're only 900,000 shy in the population, though.
That's it?
Well, no, about 750 if you include the county.
Yeah, but our location is good, though.
Yeah, but you know what? It'll be interesting.
That's not going to happen. I mean, let's be real. But, it's always good to dream.
Yeah, one thing we have to do, if we're serious about that, is you'd have to have a real uptick in air service and everything.
Listen, here's what you do, Ken.
Because, if you're talking about bringing a major company like that here, okay, your airport better be, you better either be, Amazon, I'm sure, will have their own aircraft.
Yeah.
But you still want to have your airport brought up a little bit.
Yes, I mean, it would cost millions and millions and millions of dollars to do that.
To do what?
We've already upgraded everything.
Well, the airport's okay. I mean, the other stuff could come.
Right.
But I'm saying what you'd have to do is,
if you wanted to spend,
you'd have to uptick the service in here.
If you wanted to, instead of doing all that and relying on these other airlines to do that, to fly them where they want, just buy your own jet.
Well, they will, but I'm saying, even if a company, like in the old days, and I knew this to be a fact, GE, Hammermill, they all had their own airplanes or pilots on, or they rented aircraft from Northwest,
Right.
But you're still going to have people doing business here, okay?
Right.
One of the biggest problems we have, even on a very small scale, is that when we have people coming in here to administer our pension fund, to come in and meet with us, well, if they come from a far distance, they're not going to drive. If they're coming from, let's say, out east, Philadelphia or something, they might drive here.
Right.
But if they're coming in, like we had some that came in from California, Santa Fe, New Mexico, okay, they're going to want to fly at least to Cleveland, Buffalo, or Pittsburgh.
Right.
Now, it'd be nice if you're talking about having a world headquarters, okay?
Right.
You're going to have people that are going to come here on business that may not have their own jets. Okay, so you want to have that service available.
Why can't, instead of wasting all this money and all this time on runways extensions, playing games, we take some of our gambling money, we take some of our other revenue, and we purchase a private jet, and we offer it as a service. We should have did that with GE. Mm-hmm. Instead of, just flying their people around.
Well, better things, you don't have to do that. You just help out the gentleman that owns Northwest Air or one of them, or you encourage them. They provide, aircraft for that.
Well, something.
You wouldn't want to get into that business, but what you would do is encourage somebody on a small scale.
That just came off the top of my head.
It's like this airline that's coming in here now that wants to come in here. Yeah. That's a small upstart airline, okay?
Right.
So if there's a need, That's the whole thing, though. You got to start being more aggressive. But we didn't come here to talk about that. What do you want to talk about?
Nothing. I just came
okay.
I came to talk about the Indians losing their consecutive game streak.
Yeah, I went there the night after.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, Dawn and her friend went yesterday, and they were hoping that the streak would have continued, but it didn't.
Well, you can't tell. But you know what? It was good anyway.
You know, for them to win 22 games in a row, it's really incredible.
I'm only worried about the 7 at the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, you know, you ever see the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
What's Billy Bean's favorite line? Hey, unless you win the last game of the year, nobody gives a.
Well, I always tell kids this line. You know, the modern day kid, when they talk about, and I blame the NFL for this. Okay? Like when we were talking about the Indians, they were talking about a record 100 years ago. Right?
Right.
And baseball, steadfast, stood to the rule that even though there was a tie involved, it is a record.
Right. Well, now, you know who held the record?
Giants.
And who was the next team up on the list?
Cubs.
That's my team, the Cubs.
So, I mean, you know, you looked at that and you said, okay, now football, for some reason, they don't really push the past.
Right.
Okay? They don't keep the tradition. So these kids all think that, you know, the NFL began when the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. Well, before that.
Yeah, but they don't believe there was anything before that, you know.
Well, then the Browns were like, they were the squad.
So were the Bears and the Giants. They were all powerful.
Right. Yeah, right.
So I told kids, I said, you know what they used to call the second place team? Like, you know, you took one team from each conference. You know, one West, one East. They played off one game, and that was it.
Yeah, right.
And they played wherever it was.
Right.
No,
the home team, right?
Yeah, no sanitized.
Yeah, right. No warm weather.
Yeah.
No, let's go to Florida and hang out for a week. And
so I said, you know what they called the second place team in each league?
What's that?
The first loser.
That's right. Well, that's the same with Cleveland. You know, the Indians, they've had a great run during the race. I think they're going to do really well. I think their pitch.
I couldn't hate the Cubs last year because that was like, you know, somebody was going to be happy.
I've been a lifelong, ever since Erie got cable, and we got to watch the Cubs when Harry Carey was announcing them. And as a kid, I've always followed them and hoped they would win. And to see those two teams make the World Series last year.
What if I told you I remember Harry Carey when he was with the St. Louis Cardinals?
St. Louis, yeah. Well, I think he was with wasn't he with the White Sox too? He was too, wasn't he?
No, I don't think so. I think he was with Jack. I don't think he's ever with the White Sox.
I know he was with somebody else before the Cardinals, then the Cardinals to the Cubs. But you know who's got the longest winning streak now in Major League Baseball? Cubs, 6 games. I don't think we're gonna get the Indians. And the Browns, I feel sorry for you guys.
Don't say no. I taped the game yesterday, so don't tell me anything.
Well, you know what happens.
No, I don't.
Well, take a guess.
No, I don't.
Well, you do know what happens.
No, I don't. I bought this new package because I got tired of. I'm getting a lot of complaints about Spectrum.
You know, on social media, they are getting a lot of complaints.
Go ahead, caller.
Let's quit talking about those losers.
What's up?
Hey, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the chamber going to offer Amazon? Fluoridated water?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I'm, you know, right away, I mean, unless they want to waive that 1 million person population thing.
I saw the list of what you had to have.
What was it that they needed?
Well, you definitely, one thing, you need direct flight service from your location to Seattle.
Yeah, and I said that.
If you don't have it, you're off the list.
So, I mean, right away, like I told John here right now, I said, if you're sincere about bringing in national headquarters, you better get the airlines, you know, and the chance of that is...
We have to have our own planes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one way to do it.
You're not going to get that, John. It's too expensive.
Well, look, Boston's got their hat in the ring, Tampa, Pittsburgh.
Well, here was the one that I laughed at. They said that Erie could join one of the 3 cities in their bid, if they let us.
Yeah.
So here's what my thing is. I'm putting this out to Black and Gold Nation, because we've been kissing the butt of Pittsburgh for how many years now, right?
Who is in the running?
Well, look at the difference.
Yeah, but we've been kissing their butt saying, you know, we're all Pittsburgh, we're a Pittsburgh suburb. So now I want to see us ask Pittsburgh to join them. I kind of think we're going to get the big wazoo from them. We're not going to get anything. They're not going to let us. We're 120 miles from Pittsburgh. If we were, I'll give you an example. If we were St. Paul, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, even Allentown, Philadelphia, or some, or I'm trying.
How close is Altoona compared to Erie? Do you know offhand?
Altoona to Erie.
Yeah, I mean, which is closer, Altoona to Pittsburgh or Erie to Pittsburgh?
Probably Altoona.
Well, so that would be their buddy then.
It's closer to
but they don't need us, okay?
Right.
Or if in other words, if you were like, and I use this as an example, if you're St. Paul, Minneapolis, they're separate, but they're pretty close.
Right.
So you got a joint airport, you got things that they both could offer to a large corporation for the metropolitan area. We're 120 miles away, okay?
In the wintertime, too.
Why would they even use Erie?
They wouldn't.
If we were 50 miles, maybe, you know.
I mean, we don't even have, we're not even affiliated with any of the Pittsburgh, like the Pirates play, or they're out.
No, I mean, but everybody wants to be black and gold nation. We're great to Penguins. Well, you know what? We're on our own up there. You agree, John?
You know what this is? It's a hamburger flipping town.
Look. Well, I'll be the first one if they can come up with a way to get them to come here. I'll be the biggest ringleader there is.
Well,
I just don't. But like John says, if they're telling you right away that they want 1 million people,
you're out of the running.
And they want direct flights to Seattle, well, we got a lot of work to do because we don't even have a direct flight. We can only go to Detroit, Chicago, or Philadelphia right now.
You can go to Pittsburgh anymore.
Nope, you can't.
GE, it was just a matter of time before for them to have their headquarters here was a coup to begin with. We have no airline services here. Flying out of Philadelphia is the worst.
Well, they cut it back too.
Yeah, flying out of Philly is a headache.
Right now, you got more flights to Detroit.
Yeah.
But I say this, John, we need to kiss the butt. I'll tell you what, we need to get close to Erie Insurance, Smith's Provisions, companies like that, and try to build them up.
Yeah, we need companies that we know are going to be grateful for coming in if the city and the county gives them a break.
Well, look at the ones that have left. I mean, the ones that have left, if they hadn't left, for whatever reason it was, the Lords, the Hammer Mills, we'd have been in a lot better shape.
They left because the taxes are too high, the weather is too cold, and because of our chamber, you got Chafee and you got Rao. They should go back to Buffalo along with John Oliver. He should go back to Buffalo too. They screwed Buffalo up early, and now they're doing a good job on Erie.
We need when it comes to economic development, it needs to be fought on two different fronts.
Yeah, it's a different climate. It's a different time. Before we had all the ore docks, the coal docks, the grain elevator. You had the pulpwood docks. We were industrialized.
Yeah. You
can go down 12th Street and get 5 jobs on any given day back then.
Well, the innovative district that they have up here, that's a good idea. We need to fight, on two fronts. You have to benefit your local small businesses so that they grow, because that's your base. And you have to go out into the world and and show people. You have to put together a package of what they get. This is what you get. This is what we're going to do for you. And
we had a shot when we were talking about the air bridge to Germany.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But we didn't have the runway at the time.
Right.
And that would have been something.
Right.
That would have given us some bragging rights, but it's hard to get into this town.
Well,
it really is.
Why you got the extension of the runway because of the FAA.
Yeah, but the overall plan was, John, that there is talk, and I go to the airport meetings. The airlines do want to bring in bigger jets, because even if they cut back the flights, if they can put another 30, 40 seats on there, it does the same thing for them. But they're in the process of upgrading. Let's put it to you bluntly. When you talk about the airlines upgrading, the first place they're going to upgrade is their top markets. By the time they get to Erie, it's going to be down the line a ways, but we'll get the new jets, and we'll get but that air bridge was key. They wanted to bring freight in here, because the one thing we had that nobody else had was excess runway time. There wasn't a lot of activity on it, and we were only 500 miles from many of the metropolitan areas in the United States.
I mean, the whole develop area idea to bring job wasn't a bad idea. You know, we had the cargo. That's, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that why the runway was technically extended?
Well, plus also they bought Fenestra thinking that was going to be
the hub,
a cargo zone.
And then for some reason, and then they went out to Harbor Creek and put the cart before the horse, and try to tell them out there that we're going to drive dump trucks through your main retail district. And it was
hell getting his wish.
I mean, are they out of their minds?
I hope that something happens positive, but you know, first thing we should do is take care of our local businesses and make them happy.
We had an ideal spot on 12th and Green Garden
for
that truck transfer. But
yeah.
who's going by truck anymore? They're going by rail.
I don't know. There's a lot of. I've been doing a lot of traveling for work purposes, and there's a lot.
Well, you know, McKeesport, they had to give so much money, and you know, it's just a holy mess. Hey, on the road, 38th Street.
Yeah.
I see they're raising the rings on the manholes. You know what's going to happen now?
You mean before they pave it or after they pave it?
After they pave it. What's going to happen?
They're going to be high, right?
Looks like they're going to be high.
You know what I had heard through the grapevine, that the Bureau of Streets guys, they screwed up. That's why it's taken so long.
Why?
They screwed up on something up there, and some of our
the city or
well, I think the company that did it.
That was Standard.
Russell Standard.
Yeah, I didn't want to name them, but
I'll name them.
Yeah, I did. Figured you would. But from what I had heard, that some of our streets guys and the Bureau, the guys upstairs, you know, they're watching what's going on up there, and they had screwed it up. So they had to go back, you know, they didn't want everybody to try to realize what was going on. So they tried to do a little section at a time so it wouldn't create total chaos like it's going on.
Well, what's happening now, I come down my hill today and it got a guy blocking the intersection almost. You can't see around him.
So, because it's
like a giant,
they're still working on it where at your place? Because I was over by McClelland area.
Yeah, they're down a little bit, a little bit west of Stanley too.
Threw everything up again some more.
Well, the city guys were on top of it, and they made them fix it. So, I mean, it's taking forever, but at least we get it done right.
So it's not the infrastructure underground or the base?
From what I had heard, they screwed up.
Well, I'll be truthful. We have not got an upgrade. Council has not got a report, you know, on anything.
Yeah.
I've asked for one, but still waiting. I might as well wait till
Well, it's good to hear that the city guys are on top of them. You got to watch these guys.
But I get a better chance of getting a report back than I do of seeing men land on the moon again.
You know, it's sad with those ADA ramps. They put them in and all that. Then they come with coal pack to make them accessible. You mean there's no way to put a non-skid concrete where they don't have to put tar and, you know, the rough stuff to make it accessible?
Well, the problem we got, some of them too, is they're blocking the sewers.
Yeah, they won't.
And the water can't get around them.
Well, you go down to 38th and East Avenue on the south corner. There's a swimming pool.
Yeah, and right now the big thing is, what did you hear about all summer? Nile virus mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And you got standing water sitting there.
Have you seen those new mosquitoes that are?
No.
We've been. I mean, they're about big as a silver dollar. And,
the bodies or the
bodies of them, and
yeah, they're monsters. They'll fly you away.
We went
like the mayflies used to be down the dock.
Oh, the old Canadian sailors.
This spring, yeah.
Some people were. We were out golfing, and they were all through the golf. It was like infested.
Is it the legs or the actual bodies?
The wings and the bodies. I mean, they're about the size of a.
Oh yeah, you could hear them crunch. They were all over the windows. You couldn't look out the windows.
Yeah, he's talking about the mayfly, old Canadian sailors. We call them.
That's what a lot of because it was. Yeah, a lot of people were.
Called them Canadian sailors when we were young.
Yeah, Scott Bremner on social media said put a picture. What in the hell are these things?
Oh, they swarmed you.
They were all over the golf course. I mean, they were living in the grass.
A couple of years ago, they were at the ballpark in Erie.
And when
were they?
The Blue Pike went with them.
They what?
When they left, the Blue Pike left.
Yeah, you know what? A guy told me that was the whole legacy of the Blue Pike was that was their feeding thing, was these mayflies.
Yep.
And when their food chain died, so did the blue pike.
Right.
But, yeah, it's going to be very interesting down there. And, you know, I wish a certain talk show host says that these ADA ramps are fantastic, would take a ride up in the hills here and see when the ADA ramp goes right into a wall, where's the perp?
Or the ones that go right into the hill where there's no sidewalk.
That's what I'm saying. But, hey, I see that they're going to put a bus shelter on 18th and State.
There is one there.
They're going to put a new modern one.
You mean near where the bank was?
I don't know where it was at. Little Italy designed one, and E's going to put it in. Why don't they get it on State Street for some of these people living in these housing places that have to go all the way to French Street and snow up to their yin-yang? I can't I can't really think about it. But the whole thing here is, well, we're going to have a new mayor shortly anyway, so maybe we'll get something done.
Right.
The right mayor gets in.
That was your big chance, John.
That's EMTA though, so they're a private entity.
But you can use the political bully pulpit to convince them.
Well, the mayor does have 5 appointments on there, so
yeah.
You can bully pulpit them a little bit.
Off the air and let somebody else get in. If not, I'll look into my dusty closet and find some old plans for the city of Erie that 1950 they'd be better off than they have with that new grouping.
I still got them at home.
Me too. Have a good one.
You too, John.
We have a visitor at the mic.
He won't come up, though.
You have 5 minutes.
I have a question. Oh, no, sorry, I can't ask it.
Give me the gavel. Go ahead, caller.
Good gentlemen.
How are you?
I had 2 family members. They were flying out of O'Hare, Chicago, to Erie last Sunday, a week ago Sunday. And their flight was canceled to Erie because they couldn't get a pilot. They put them up in a hotel, the Hilton by the airport. Got into town the following day, Monday, and they both had to miss a day's work.
I mean, that's...
It's the first time I ever heard it on the Chicago flight. I hear it a lot on the Philadelphia flight. In fact, the last flight of the day out of Philly was always hit and miss that, you didn't know whether they would look at if they didn't have a lot of people, all of a sudden they mysteriously didn't have a crew.
Okay, let's talk about the ramp cuts.
Go ahead.
On East Avenue. I called Doug Mitchell earlier in the spring when they were doing these curb cuts, and they cut out into the street, and they filled it back in with the rough asphalt coating, not the finish coat, the rough.
Mm-hmm.
You go out, look there today, there are weeds coming out of the cracks where they filled in for these curb cuts. Weeds coming up.
Where is that? East Avenue and
34th.
Oh, okay.
Well, both corners. I haven't checked in any other corners because I live right by there, and there's actually weeds growing out of the cracks.
I know they serve a function, but man, they've caused a lot of problems too.
I called Doug Mitchell and I says, I think it was a Mickey Mouse job the way they put that. They didn't put the finished coat of asphalt down.
Yeah, we shouldn't have weeds coming up through there.
They put the rough coat down.
Weeds are popping up in a lot of, next to the sewers and everything's pretty soon going to block the sewers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, that's all I got to say.
Hey, I feel sorry for your relatives. Next time I go to the airport meetings, I'll check and see if that's like a frequent occurrence or not.
No.
Yeah, it's not pleasant when you can't even get back into Erie,
They both have missed a day's work.
Yeah, and there's, the trouble is, you have no other options.
Right. That's that.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you. Yeah, even if in the old days, if you could get a flight to Cleveland, you might be able to either rent a car or get a flight back into Erie.
Right.
But Continental now doesn't fly into Erie because they were absorbed by United, which is now the Chicago run. So what happens, that's what happens to my daughter a lot. If anything goes wrong, there's not the capacity or the flights into Erie. So you got to wait somewhere.
Did you hear that local businessman Tim Berkmeyer passed away? Did you hear that?
No.
You know, Tim Berkmeyer from the trucking. Yeah, he passed away. I saw. So it's sad. But you know, the whole 38th Street project is a disaster. You know, and John brought up. It was funny how we fought the fight to put chlorine in the water.
Yeah.
Or not chlorine.
Fluoride.
Fluoride. Yeah, with chlorine in the water. And then all of a sudden, nobody drinks the water anymore. Everybody's drinking bottled water now. So
Not by choice.
I mean, right there, right here.
Not by choice, but I mean, I drink water, but.
I mean, how much would it, I wonder what is the cost to put the water in there.
I would have given out, what do you call it, vouchers for those people that they could have went and, bought the pills for their kids if they so desired. Because for people like my wife, fluoride's a bad deal. Mm-hmm. It has problems with her, she has women problems that a lot of women have, that it's not good.
Well, it's like, was Mario for it or against it?
He was against it.
Okay.
In fact, his appointment was a lady named Ann DeMarco.
I know Ann DeMarco.
And she was against it.
Right.
She was one of the people on the board that voted no.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, that went through there was two fights that I remember. One when I was in high school, and they actually had pins made, pro and con for fluoride.
Right.
And they voted it down, I think, twice.
Well, I remember when we were kids, I don't know about when you were a kid, but they used to give us tablets.
Yeah.
Did you guys get tablets when you were younger?
I didn't get them, but the girls got them.
They made sure that we got they're like real tiny fluoride.
Yeah, we weren't into, my generation didn't take those, but the girls took another kind of pill, but fluoride, now they won't even let you do it because of the laws.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time I actually drank a glass of water out of the spigot. It's not that I, consciously say I'm not drinking this water. It's just that, when you get the bottled water, you put it in the fridge, it's nice and cold. It's cold when it comes out but then you got to screw around with ice, and then you got glasses, whereas the bottle, it's right there.
I drink tap water all the time, and that probably would explain some of my psychological issues.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's probably that. Yeah.
I thought it's never his fault. It's always somebody else's fault.
It's always something else.
He's okay.
He's all right.
Sorry I'm late. I just got back from hauling a load of junk for the rummage sale. I had so much stuff in the car, I was literally driving.
When is the rummage sale? I have some stuff for it.
7th, coming up October 7th.
Yeah, I got some stuff I'll probably bring out.
Yay, more
Where's
stuff.
it at? Why don't you?
Cat.
Okay, what time?
9 a.m. until 4.
And that supports all the things you guys do over
That
there?
supports us. Everything that we make goes, right back to us. We're greedy. We're one of those greedy nonprofits. But we actually literally make no profit, so.
You're a not-profit.
We're a not-profit.
You're not a non-profit. You're a not-profit.
We got nothing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, yeah.
You're going to get cut again, bro. And you'll get cut again real soon, bro.
I don't think so.
Let's not go there.
So,
good times, though. Good times.
Hey, you guys have done a good job. I think, the Erie Day stuff and all that other stuff.
Yeah, we still do the festivals. We got Celebrate Erie, Blues and Jazz. We don't do Roar on the Shore anymore, which I don't miss because I wasn't a big fan anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys did a good job. I was down.
It's kind of quiet now around town. All the
festivals. Well, the St. Pat's.
Yeah.
My alma mater was this weekend, and then I worked, volunteered at the German Fest one, and I volunteered at the.
I used to work the Limburg.
Where were you at Zababa? I didn't see you at Zababa.
Tending bar.
Tending bar.
Yeah.
No shit. No.
He's a bartender.
Go ahead, caller.
You got a lull there. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What are we sending street cleaners up to areas where there are no curbs? I saw one again go up my road, and there's not a curb in sight.
I know, but we still got debris along the side.
Well, all he's doing is throwing stones and dirt all over. My wife's yelling like, oh.
They didn't put the water on either, did they?
No, she's got to go out and clean the windows.
I mean, I got a lot of debris along mine that gets washed down during the rainstorms?
Yeah. It's the only time you wash your windows?
No. I mean debris along the road.
We know the missus isn't getting out there. Come on. Kaz does the windows, right, Kaz?
Yeah, I do the windows.
That's right, absolutely.
Sometimes.
And there's another question there.
Yeah.
Where's code enforcement on all these curbs on 38th Street? On both sides of the street and even the medial of the curbs.
What do you mean?
If you'd ask anybody, they're
all deteriorating.
Oh.
They're on the Lower East Side and West Side just banging everybody if you ask everybody else. But I don't believe they were up in my neighborhood, and I don't live on the Lower East Side anymore. That's where I grew up. And they were doing it on my block too. So it's not, I don't know why they keep saying, and maybe I'm missing something because they added it, but they've been around other parts of the city doing the same thing that they're doing on the Lower East Side.
They got the one guy they hired. He's banging the Lower West Side pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, he's got 1,100 citations, whether they were, monetary or not. Just
where are the other 5?
Well, that's the question I got. I mean, I'm thinking, we get. I just wonder if we're going to be as aggressive in some of the other sides of town.
Yeah, on the west side, huh?
Or I'm thinking up into
the other way around.
I'm thinking up in the other upper areas.
How aggressive will we be in Glenwood Hills, or how aggressive will we be in the Frontier area?
You're right. Well, it's almost time for the leaves to fall, and they'll go over and do their leaves.
All right.
What's that?
Frontier, they collect their leaves. People push them right onto the street.
Oh yeah, I was there. There's what I call the double standard.
Green garden too.
Yeah, in my area, they say we don't have enough trees. So we don't qualify as like a wooded area, I guess. I don't know, but it sure looks like it's monetarily driven when you're talking about Frontier, South Shore, Glenwood, Green Garden.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's not on the flip side. We can say that too, but the houses there and the people own their property out there, so they actually take care of it.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if we have to put ours in bags, everybody should have to put.
No, I'm not talking about leaves. I'm talking the code enforcement stuff. I'm talking about.
That's true.
But you got to be careful because if you're going to nail people for, this is where you open yourself up to problems.
Well, you have selective enforcement,
right? You got to be careful about that.
You got to. I mean, you guys of council are talking. Have public meetings. On one hand, that's a great idea, but on the other hand, you've been informing people of what's been going on with the plan for a year, over a year.
But the whole thing is, we always told them we were going to go into their neighborhoods and talk about specific problems. Now, John, my problem in my area is way different than a problem in Lower East Side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different issues, different. Our problems are.
Our problems are we take care of our houses, and down there they don't.
Right, but still, John, we got some issues up there that we want to address. For instance, the influx of rentals on 38th Street.
Well, it's not residential if it's a rental. You got 5 people living in one house.
Right.
And it's 38th Street. You can go by there on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, and that's considered R1 zone. They can only have 5 people in a house non-related.
Just think about this, Cass. Think about this for 1 second. People up on the Upper East Side, they're upset. You guys are just talking about it right now. You have one house with 5 people living, one house with rentals.
Yeah.
The whole Lower West Side are full of that situation you're talking about right there. That's where...
Which is why we want to know, John and I want to know what the other 5 guys are doing. We don't want every part of the city to have the same problem. Okay, we've allowed it to happen and it's creeping. Okay, Buki's plan, if it did anything, when he analyzed all the issues, he showed the yellow, the red, and the green zone. Okay, but the green zone can transition very easily.
Right.
And as you see, like right now, the yellow zone is approximately in a neighborhood like 28th Street, 26th Street.
Right.
Okay, his thing was you solidify that first. You put like a firewall, like when you fight a fire.
Right.
You put a firewall up and you say no more here. Okay.
Right.
Now we go in and we clean up the mess we created.
Right.
But if you allow it to go into, like where I am, and all of a sudden 38th Street becomes, the problem area because the houses are being run down.
Right.
Okay. What does that do for?
So what you're saying is, I would consider myself like there's the red area.
I think you're yellow, but
yeah, I'm just outside of it. So you want to attack that area?
No, I didn't say that.
No, I don't mean attack. Yeah. That was a bad term.
No, that's what
approach that area in the Buki plan. It
yeah.
says you want to fix that area up and it increases the property value of those areas that are in the red zone. But here's the thing. The money right now, where the state money, the local money, and everybody ready to do things, are focusing on the Bayfront area.
And that's okay. They said as long as you can justify what they did say. John, are you still there?
Yeah.
What they said what you don't want to do is throw a lot of money in an area where there's no return.
Correct. But you said before, this is just a blueprint. So if there's the matching money that people are ready to invest on these parts of town, shouldn't we take advantage of that matching money while it's still there to invest with the state money and the other grants that we can
absolutely. But I'm saying in the meantime, the other 5 guys can go up 38th Street like I can and start cracking down.
Oh, well, yeah, I think I don't think they're all hanging out because they were at my house and they were on my block.
Let me tell you this. People that are moving out of 37th and 38th Street neighborhood is alarming.
You're right about that.
We had a councilman who moved out of there.
You're right about that.
Okay.
That's
where
they're buying all the property. The school's buying all the property, and they're letting all the athletes and everybody else live in there. And they say they're going to build that big addition for $15 million, and they're going to bring all the students into that and make them stay there for 1 or 2 years. And meanwhile, you got Barron doing the same thing. So it's a losing call.
I got 3 properties next to my house. At the top of the hill was college kids. They've been pretty good lately. But we can't sell those 3 properties.
No, they won't. No one will buy them.
It's been all summer. They put those signs up early in the year. And I've had to have the grass cut in that field twice because, otherwise the signs will be hidden.
I mean, the Lower East Side, the Bayfront property on the west, and any successful city, those are where your affluent people with the spending, with purchasing power live. They support your downtown district, and then the whole community rises.
Well, if you listen to how Buki said, you target those areas near the center core that are going to feed the area. You just don't go into the worst part of town and dump a lot of money and expect it to change.
Right.
It's a gradual progression.
I don't think the city. I think they've made it clear that they haven't really.
I got one quick thing.
Go ahead, John.
42nd and Fargo, about the middle of just before you get to the intersection.
Right.
Kids playing Indian cowboys and Indians. The grass is so high.
Is that triangle?
That's the one right across the street. The house that burned down. It's 18 or 19 inches high now.
42nd Fargo before you get to the intersection.
Yeah, it's on the right-hand side, the south side of the street.
I think that's that triangle piece, right?
No, the triangle's right across the street from it.
Okay, it's pretty close, though.
Now, the triangle I wanted to buy and put a pizza shop in, but the city wouldn't sell me.
Why?
I don't know. They probably figured there's enough meatballs in town. Have a good one.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot. The Lower East Side, I grew up down there, and I've been down there a lot recently. It's really bad.
I agree. If we got people that are working, that's fine. Yeah. And you can't turn that down. But he was specific in that you don't go into areas where, if you got help, that's one thing. But you don't go into areas and just dump a lot of money in, untargeted.
It's right, but I bet you right now, if he was sitting right there, and we said, what's his first name? Paul? Was it Paul? Paul Buki?
No, Charles, I thought.
Chuck. We got $100-something million to do matching funding on this part of town. I know it's a red area, but we have $100 million, maybe more. What do you think? Should we target that area? He'd be like, absolutely. Because that's where you have an opportunity to leverage the money with other money.
But still, I'm saying, the other guys have to get out and start securing the other areas, okay?
Yeah, well, they.
I think
they are
just in their everyday. Well, they're not.
Not as hard. Maybe not as hard. But they hired somebody to target that area.
Yeah, that area. But when you get up to my area, okay, it looks like everything's hunky-dory, but you can't have all those cars parked on the sidewalk. You can't have all those, kids going wild with parties because people move out. And when they move out, they abandon the neighborhoods. You want stable families there that are going to purchase goods and services in the area. They're going to go to church around there. They're going to do all kinds of things. They're going to,
It lowers the property value up there is what it does.
Well, sure it does. And you know
that's
what?
bad. I mean, the whole city.
If you let it go now, John, while you still got a control of it, when you're only talking about a few areas, see, it's the old broken window theory. If you fail to go after the first broken window, then the second one comes.
Right.
And when you just kind of ignore it, well, then you don't think this happened overnight.
Right.
These areas we're talking about were, when I was a kid, you could drive down through there.
Well, I tell you what.
You knew that, right?
Yeah. They went around, in my neighborhood alone, and their people are doing things. They are making the adjustments that are, recommended.
And that's why council wants to have meetings with them to tell them, here's what's going to happen. Okay? No surprises. Like, let me tell you this. There was no meeting held in my area of town.
Well, I don't think there was any per se meetings, which maybe there should be, but Kaz, there's a...
That doesn't hurt, John. This is going to be...
Nobody will show.
John, okay, they don't show, guess what? You gave them their chance.
They have opportunity. I mean, I'm playing the devil, because I agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Because in the Buki report, like everybody wants to think is a Bible.
Yeah.
Okay? They think it's a Bible.
Yeah.
He says in there that you don't want to really hammer people with fines and all that.
Right.
It's better to go in there and tell them, hey, this is what's going to happen to you.
Guess what?
And now guess what? If you don't do it,
yeah.
Okay, then we're going to hammer you. Okay?
We finally got there. The only way, these community crime watch groups, I've been involved with them, they're lucky to get 10 people. I mean, that's for the good ones.
Yeah, but
nobody gets involved. Nobody will show up to a public meeting.
I agree with you, John, but you know what? You know what the old saying is? You've been warned. When you go on federal property, they got a sign that says you can be shot. Okay, you were warned. Okay, you cross this line, you're going to get okay.
I think there needs to be like a website. I mean, people are aware of it.
That's
now.
what council wants to do. Council wants stuff on the internet. That's what we're pushing for. Make it transparent. Work with the neighborhood groups to go out in the neighborhood. You offer people a chance. I can't force them. But I got neighbors that ask me now, when they watch what's going on the Lower West Side, they're saying, well, what's going to happen up here? Are we going to be, there's some issues that I don't want to bring on the air, but there are some issues that concern them. Mm-hmm. And a couple of them, I'll tell you after they're really makes people nervous because they're saying, are we on TV?
Yeah, we're on the monitors and stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're concerned about the extent of what happened down there, that if they come up here, are they going to be just as...
They came through, I mean, when I didn't know about it either, and I'm kind of involved.
Don't you think it would be nice, John?
When I saw a list of I was like, are you people kidding me?
But don't you think it would be nice if that was available on a computer?
Yes, I did.
And we offered you the chance to come to a meeting, and if you didn't, I mean, I can't force you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I wish they could do everybody knows about it now. It's no big secret, but it could have been handled a little bit differently.
I mean, the school district has offered us, from what I hear, they've offered us some of their buildings for use.
Well, they're going to end up giving those things away. I wish I had money. I'd be making some investments. Those school district. Did you see what they're doing to? There's a school in Wesleyville, right off of Buffalo Road. They're turning it into senior living.
Yeah.
I mean, and the senior population is...
Well, we did one with Columbus.
Yeah. Well, that's a little different. But
what do you mean?
Isn't that for like homeless people and different things?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can, when you look at a school, one of the plans for Academy was that they were going to put housing in there.
Right.
Because, they looked at, what do you do with a school building?
Right.
You really, you have to tear down walls maybe, or maybe you use the classrooms for apartments.
Yeah.
But you're really limited in what you can do, because
I mean, what they did out in Wesleyville, they're turning it into senior living. The senior population is going to grow like 200% within the next 15 to 20. Because all the baby boomers are.
And I'll bet you some of this housing, I don't know.
I'll bet you. I'll tell you one right offhand that it's going to happen.
What's that?
Wayne Middle School. Remember where you heard that today?
No, I didn't, but you heard it?
I've heard.
I think housing is totally feasible. You could do almost anything with those buildings. I went up to North Dakota.
Well, the buildings are
years
sturdy.
ago.
Yeah.
This one guy bought a high school, turned it into a castle, which is a hotel. So he put like a facade on it, turned it into a tourist attraction, which is something I think that Erie could use more
Well, if you think about it, I mean, the schools, they have the electricity, they have the plumbing, they have ADA, because you have to be ADA for school.
It would be fantastic.
So, I mean, would you have to invest a lot of? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's monies there to do that, and if somebody comes in and takes it over, I mean, what they did on Wesleyville, off of Buffalo Road there, it's beautiful.
Well, that's entirely up to builders, whatever, if they think there's a market. Go ahead, caller.
Here, Cass. Hey, you're talking about conversion buildings, it made me think of what used to be the one hotel there, Hotel Lawrence there, when converted into dorms for Gann, and now it's apartment.
Oh, you mean the annex?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lawrence Hotel Annex.
Yeah. The question I have, though, you mentioned in the past about the Parking Authority, we rejuvenate use the night tagging, to go across the streets.
Mm-hmm. Well, we want to talk to them about that possibility. It was all part of the new thing about redesigning the parking meters and everything. That's still in the plans, by the way.
Because after 4, you get a lot of people that like to park right on the streets, just like where it's not supposed to be, but they're there. And, up around by me, there's a couple that do this around the bar. They park on both sides of the street and make it difficult for traffic to get down through. So I don't know if you're going to have anybody do that. Seems like the city police, I'm not condemning them, but they don't want to seem to tag illegally parked cars.
No, they really don't. They're more busy with other things, and I think that's why I think we really need to, if we can find a way to get the parking authority into it more, I think that's better.
Now, did that have to be an ordinance by you, or is that be an authority, change in the authority bylaws or something?
Well, the laws are there that you can't park there, so it's merely a matter of, we've already, if you remember, weren't you a meter man once or not?
But I wasn't one that drove around. When I was the operations person there,
remember they deputized them?
Not too much.
Well, I know they do the parking lots.
Well, they're deputized by the police department.
Right.
And so what happens is they are given the right to, their parameters are strictly parking meters, both in the lots and on the street, and also they can do certain, they're told they can do certain citations on the highway, like on the road the streets.
The streets now.
So they're given parameters by us, and then they're deputized to do that. That's why they get a badge. Because you just can't have anybody do,
No, and then they're protected under the same protection that the city police get harassment or shot at or anything like that.
And they're unarmed too, so
they're like ordinance police.
Well, years ago when the city used to run the parking meters, it was a Bureau of Police. They called it the Bureau of Parking under the police department.
Yeah, it was the Erie Police Department Meter Division.
Yeah, they had many problems with it. So they decided to when they formed the parking authority to build parking ramps and all that, they decided to let them, like they did in other towns, have meter maids or whatever you want to call them, meter enforcement personnel.
Yeah.
And that's what they,
Right.
Then at night we used to use a couple guys because it was a little more dangerous at night. We would have a couple of young college kids. They would tag the parking meters at late at night around the ball.
Deputized, I would totally rock that badge. I would be getting all sorts of tickets and stuff to people. It'd be awesome.
Oh man!
Come on,
I'm going to get off because somebody else can call. But
yeah, that's one of the things we're looking at, though, Doc.
Take care.
You too.
Bye, Doc.
Boy, the time goes quick.
No, we're good.
I know we are, but it's going.
That clock is wrong, Kaz. According to that, it's 10 to 10.
It's pretty close.
It's 2:52, man. You got
10 to 10?
Yeah.
That says 10 to 10.
Oh, 10 to 10. No, that's definitely off.
This is the late night show.
This is.
That's set on, I can't see. That's
that says 9:55.
right now that's even later in London. That's probably somewhere in Moscow.
I think you guys have an issue.
Moscow maybe
Those be done, yeah.
because I think Europe is 5 or 6 hours away. 6, I believe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 5 to the coast.
No wonder you guys.
Or somewhere in the middle of Russia.
No wonder Erie's behind the times. Well, actually, you guys are ahead of the time.
I know we got.
Or is it behind?
We don't know.
We got crazy Russian drivers. I'll tell you that. People on these roads are insane. It's not just the drivers; it's the people walking in the middle of the damn road.
Well, you know, the school district. A lot of people were predicting disaster. The new kids, it's going to be chaos.
Where at the new school?
Yeah, the new high school. They're going to be fighting and shooting and stabbing. I haven't heard one word.
Well, what will happen
Negative.
is, like when they formed a Academy in Central,
Yeah.
there'll be some growing pains.
Sure.
But,
Well, the busing they had issues with.
yeah, I mean, but as far as the kids getting together, there'll be some issues. There always are.
Yeah, but nothing that,
But, you know, if
not the
they,
doom and gloom that people were predicting.
if they keep on top of it, no. You know, if they,
Yeah.
you know, they kind of, Academy was a little traumatic because the kids weren't ready for the final answer. And that was kind of like wham, okay? But with this one, you know, they kind of prepared the kids ahead of time.
You guys are both going off.
519, I don't know anybody 519.
I do something called put my phone on silent.
I did.
Usually I do
very
too,
low.
but we don't have any friends. We're not popular.
Oh, here,
I will
I'll
say
call
this,
you
though,
right
that-
now, John.
Go.
I wish the Kumbaya had been there when Academy and Tech formed to make Central. They had the kids get together, and the kids designed. You guys are going to laugh at this. And if somebody wants to call me a liar down to district, I'm ready for them. But the kids designed a new uniform and color scheme. They took the green of Tech and the blue of Academy. And they came up with teal. Well, teal is the color of Miami Dolphins
Right,
and a couple other schools.
right.
They were told that they can't get that color.
At the new school? Are you talking?
This was Central.
Okay.
They were going to name them. They came up with a name like South Hills High, something like that, and they were going to make the mythical character was going to be a cross between a lion and a centaur, which would have been tough, but they were going to come up with like a griffin or something.
Never heard of that one.
But the kids got together and they planned all this. You know, this is how they were going to merge.
Yeah.
And the plan was to bring all the trophies over. None of that ever happened.
Wow.
So in this one, they claimed that the kids picked the colors and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other case, they never did. And that I thought was a big mistake because that would have gone a long way to... now, the first problems they had was lunch times. Things didn't work as quick as they thought they would, but...
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problems that you guys were worried about was lunchtime.
Well, no,
Nowadays,
that's what came out of it.
Yeah.
But they were worried even then about Academy at the time was a strange school. It had it was a unique school. It had kids from Glenwood Hills and it had kids from the hood.
Yeah.
But one thing was certain, it was a very progressive school. It was actually doing good sports-wise, grade-wise, and everything. When they moved into Tech, the problems they had was the biggest problem was you're taking a trade school and an academic school. One was 7 periods and one was 8 periods. And we had to deal with the teachers on how to make that work. So everything had to be reconfigured to 8-period day to make the plan work for the, but, and those things, you know, eventually took about a year or so. But there were other issues like fire alarms weren't working on time, the electric wasn't up to date. So there was some issues, you know, that.
I mean, nowadays, they're worried about gunshots and.
Well, we were at the beginning of that stuff, but you know, they were still always worried about mixing kids from.
Yeah, from rich and poor.
But not only that, but just mixing kids from different schools when, you know, you have an hierarchy, like, you know, You're a big shot here, but now you're.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's good to do that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's socially a good thing.
Sometimes you just got to knock people down a peg.
But I think it'll work out. But the kids are making it work. That's what usually will happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the sports team they're doing pretty good. I mean, Prep's football team must be unbelievable. I mean, they're blowing everybody. They're ranked. I think they're top in the state.
I actually had somebody out east tell me that in fact, they send their kid to a private school like that. And he was asking me what the name of the school was out here that was powerful. He couldn't remember the name, but his comment was that people are going to yell at me and scream at me, but they probably need to be in a league of their own.
Prep?
Yeah. On the state level, you're dealing with schools and I know I'm not going to get involved in the arguments, but now in a way we're doing what we couldn't do before, which was this talk always came up about what if we took all the best athletes in one high school.
Now we're doing it.
And put them on one team. Well, we couldn't do it.
Now you can.
Well, now we can because we closed the other ones.
Right.
The thing before was, what if we just had them, play for the PIAA won't allow you.
Right.
Because they don't like super teams.
Exactly.
But now what are we doing?
Well, they didn't like super teams because the teams in Philly.
Well, look at
where all the money comes.
But look at McDowell. McDowell could probably field 2 football teams.
Yeah.
In Mill Creek Township.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at Butler. They did the same thing. They merged. Okay. Now we're going to show, and you can see as we got a little depth now, we're whacking the heck out of Meadville, General McLean. We're probably. I think we did better against Prep than McDowell did.
I don't know.
But, we're going to probably give McDowell a battle. So, but here's the problem. They wouldn't let us do it before. The bad part about this merger is in the case of basketball, like track, you can have 3 teams,
right,
and you can tour different meets. You can have your main team.
Right.
But what do you do in basketball? You're going to have 30 kids.
Yeah.
You got 2 schools now, 30 kids that aren't going to have a place to play.
That is a bad.
And you can't have an A, B, and a C team. At least I don't think you can. We couldn't then.
I wonder, I know colleges have traveling clubs, team players that play, but they're not on the main team, but they do travel.
But if you had a kid, John, that was good.
Yeah.
If he could have played last year with Vincent East or Central, but he's not one of the top 15 now. But yet he still had a shot to maybe play for Barron or Division III, or maybe a Division II school.
Did you happen to catch the Sports Center featured on St. Strong Vincent?
No.
Shannon Pulliam and those guys on ESPN. It was really good. There was a 10-minute quick story of city violence. Did you see it?
I got one thing left to say.
Go ahead.
Thanks for having me. We're done.
How do you know?
I saw the time cues.
I think don't we run late all the time?
We have about 30 seconds left.
Yeah, what do you got, a date?
No, man, it's just hard. When he goes to play it back, it gets cut off every time.
We know.
Are you coming next week?
Yes, I am. Hopefully on time.
That's okay. We adjust for that.
I was late too.
Last week I was talking. Last week
I was on time. I'm like.
Last week the callers had to keep me going because I was talking to myself.
I caught somebody had it on. I saw you sitting up there doing the flying solo.
I felt bad because I was in Colorado and I was streaming it and I was like, oh, I'm so sad nobody else showed up.
What's his name? That other guy that was.
He had to work.
What's his name again?
Dave, yeah.
He had to
Dave's
work.
kind of my replacement, so when I finally can't come around anymore, I'm going to try to make sure he's here.
Dave's good.
Yeah.
We're going to try to keep you here. We don't want you going to John Denver land.
I already have an apartment. No, we can't take that. We're done.
Well, we can take one more. Go ahead, caller. We got to cut you off quick, though. Go ahead.
I was going to say, give me a call off the air, will you, Kaz? I know you're familiar with Lancaster. I want to talk to you about Lancaster here.
Oh, okay.
Give me a call off the air, will you, please?
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, thanks for watching.
As John would say, of all of our most recent shows, this has been the most recent.
That is correct.
This is a fact-filled show, I tell you that. Thanks for having us, guys.
And DJ, maybe we'll see you next week too, or
maybe.
Do it.
Maybe.
Do it.
You have to be on time, though. Going to be on time.
Okay, I'm done.
Where's that music?
I want music.
We need some new music, Kaz.
We need some good music.
You should, sing.
A little smoke on the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.